Hello, Pally.
Today is Friday, October 12th, 2018.
And InFocus starts right now. An annual event to help students prepare for Spirit Week themes returns.
A controversial part of American government is overruled.
All that and more is coming up on today's show. Welcome to InFocus. I'm Stella Essenmacher.
And I'm Leon Friedrichowitz.
There's a lot going on around campus.
Here's some important announcements from today's campus bulletin.
Spirit Week is quickly approaching. The week will be filled with rallies, dress-up days, and competitions, and culminates with the homecoming dance. Those who want to participate in the games can sign up at tinyurl.com/swgames18. If games aren't your thing and you'd rather be besting a move, tickets for the homecoming dance can be purchased throughout this week on the Pally web store and can be bought on the quad next week during lunch. Having the best Spirit gear is a must for the fun-filled week, and the Spirit Swap is an opportunity for students to exchange old Spirit Week items fitting any theme with other Spirit Week items in ASB's inventory. The swap will happen on the quad next week.
Speaking of Spirit Week, sophomores taking part in their Spirit Dance should make note that practice is today on the lacrosse field during tutorial. Also, during today's tutorial, the Palo Alto Arts Center will be hosting a creative art making event in the ceramic room, Art Room 105. 2 Palo Alto Center staff members will be leading the free workshops for students who want to have some fun, make some art, de-stress, and be creative. The College and Career Center will be hosting a job fair next Tuesday at lunch on the quad. Students will have the chance to meet employers and conduct interviews.
Moving on now from what's going on around campus to what's happening in the world and locally today.
Let's take a look at what's topping today's headlines in today's News Minute.
Inmates on death row in Washington state will not be executed. The state Supreme Court says the death penalty is unconstitutional because it is applied inconsistently and cited racial bias. The 8 prisoners on death row in Washington will now serve life in prison instead.
Stocks made a comeback today after a 2-day meltdown on Wall Street. The DOW started the day with a big rally, jumping 400 points, after dropping more than 1,300 points Wednesday and Thursday.
Pally is currently celebrating its centennial, and in 1918, when Pally was a new school and the First World War was coming to an end.
However, the nations of Europe had to be embroiled in conflict for many years prior to the entry of the U.S. into the war in 1917.
That is the topic of this installment of Today in History.
And Lindsay has been learning more.
On this day in 1915, Edith Cavell was executed by a German firing squad. In 1907, Cavell moved from her home in England to Belgium to become a nurse. In 1914, shortly after the outbreak of the First World War, Belgium was occupied by the invading German army. Cavell, working as a nurse in Brussels, secretly helped capture British and French escape to Britain. Her actions were discovered, and she was convicted of treason by a German court-martial and sentenced to death. Edith Cavell always held that she would help anyone, regardless of nationality. That's all from me. Back to you, Stella and Leon.
Thanks for that great story, Lindsay.
Let's move on to what happened to the more recent past.
Jason is in the studio now with the latest in Pally sports news. So, Jason, how did Pally do yesterday?
Well, Stella, I'm happy to say that it was a spectacular day for Pally sports. But I'm pretty sure today will be just as good. Here's a look at today's games. At home, girls varsity water polo will rule the pool against Wilcox at 2 p.m. and against St. Ignatius at 6 p.m. At Fremont, JV football starts at 4:30 p.m. and varsity football at 7 p.m. Moving on to today's scoreboard. Girls frosh volleyball delivered with 2 sets, while Los Gatos ended up with 0. Also against Los Gatos, boys varsity water polo sprang out with 10 goals. The match was a nail-biter and resulted in a winning score of 10-9. With a simple score of 1-0, girls varsity field hockey checked off Monte Vista. That's it for me, but Stella and Leon, let me tell you, you really should get out to a field hockey game. They are pretty fun to watch.
Thanks, Jason. I think I'll try to get to a game soon.
It's not a secret that field hockey is Pally's newest sports team.
While most of us are familiar with the version of the game played on ice, some of us don't know much about the version played on grass.
Makino de Geronimo caught up with the team to find out more about Pally's new sports team.
Field hockey is a new sport at Pally this year.
I tried lacrosse last year as my first year and I really liked it, and I heard that there were some similarities.
It was new this year at Pally and I really wanted to try it out, so I thought it would be cool.
I joined just because I love Pally sports and I always meet so many new people.
Field hockey is not an easy sport. It was important that the players adjusted to the new team and worked hard to gain experience.
It's a pretty awkward sport because the stick is really short, but I think I've gotten more used to it and it's really fun.
It's definitely hard to, if you've never played before, play with other people on the field and learn the rules at the same time.
It's really hard to take the positive things out of the games, but we're getting there.
Jennifer Crane is the field hockey coach.
Coming into the season, I definitely had to get a different idea of what winning would be for us this year. We're a new program. 19 out of 20 girls have never played field hockey before, so I knew it was going to be not scoring goals and actually winning games, but accomplishing and achieving small goals throughout the season.
She has much experience with the sport and enjoys coaching the team.
I played field hockey in high school, and then I got recruited actually to play at Cal, and I played there for 4 years. And then I played a little bit in Virginia Beach with some of the national team for a little tournament, which was fun.
For InFocus, I'm McKenna DiGeronimo.
Many students dream of becoming athletes one day, but others have different plans.
Like our very own Thomas Coburn, who dreams of being a meteorologist.
Thomas joins us now. It looks like you're well on your way to achieving your dream.
As John Lennon said, you may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I've always had my head in the clouds, but let's see if there are any clouds in today's forecast. So as we look up in San Francisco, we have a high of 75 and a low of 51. It's roughly around 73 degrees right now with about 6 to 7 mile an hour wind. And as we cross up into Oakland, we're having a high of 76 and a low of 51, roughly the same weather as San Francisco. And as we go down south, down to San Jose, we got a high of 82 and a low of 52, around 78 degrees. So that's our temperature around the Bay Area today. So as we look at today in Palo Alto, it was about 80 degrees. We had a high of 82, a low of 52, winds around 5 miles an hour with humidity at around 29%. And then as we look at this weekend, we're going to have high 70s and 51 as the low. And as the rest of the week, it's mainly high 70s and 80s throughout the highs and low 50s for the lows. I'm Thomas Colburn, your weatherman. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Thomas. Well, that does it for today's episode.
Be sure to visit our website to check out old episodes, check the bulletin, or to send us an email.
Until next time, have a great day, Pally.